If you've ever woke up on Monday morning at 4:30 and been like, I'm going back to sleep, but then not been able to because you were just ready to attack the week, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks. Welcome back. Happy Monday. We are back for another week here. I know it's the summer. I know not a whole lot seems like it's going on. Market's kind of We got a lot of stuff to cover here. We got no 13. So we're going to have to figure out how to make some money here today. Ready to go? Let's get it.
Welcome to Benzinga Live Trading.
Let's see if this actually kind of comes back.
Way out of control, got way too high.
All right. Hey, I will take that. I will absolutely take that.
Good morning, folks, and happy Monday. I hope that you all had a great weekend. Maybe you spent reading about Uno and memes. I don't know. Maybe you spent it golfing. Whatever you did, hopefully you had a great weekend. It's great to see a whole bunch of returning faces this week. This week is big. Couple of things here. So number one, as far as stocks go, Nvidia is post-split here today. We will absolutely be taking a look at that. We might even trade that here today. Let's see. 13 is on vacation, I think, until Friday. He might be back on Friday. I don't know, though. 13 is on vacation, so I brought in a special guest to fill in and fill those shoes. And then there was something else that I was and then all of this stuff with GME. We're going to break it down. We're going to discuss it. I want to hear what you folks think about what's going on with the situation and how we can trade it and how maybe we can position for it. And last but not least, certainly not least, trading competition from Trade the Pool begins today. You see it in the banner above, link in the description below. Starts at 9:30 here today, and there's prizes for the top 50 winners. Top 50 winners get prizes. So go ahead and get ready for that trading competition. You can actually win something there. The stream is still sponsored by Trade the Pool. So if you need help getting above the 25K threshold, they can help you with that. We're going to be using Trade the Pool to execute trades here today. Now, without further ado, I bring on friend of the show, veteran trader, and just overall veteran, Andy from Mighty Soldiers Trades. Andy, happy Monday, man. How are you doing?
Good morning, Ryan. Good morning, everybody. Great to see everybody, and thanks so much for bringing me on, Ryan. It's big shoes to fill with 13, but I will do my best.
Yeah, but you know what, Andy? The thank you is all on my side because I kind of just ask you to help out, and you're like, yeah, sure, what the heck? And I will say, ever since really kind of starting the show, we've always kind of had multiple people. When you have to go down to one person, oh man, it is difficult. So Andy, simply having you here is going to be helpful. But let's not also forget that you have a habit of catching some of these big rippers, and that's exactly what we're going to be looking for here today.
Yeah, if we get 100% ripper, that's what it's all about, Ryan. But I just want to say I really like the good morning here from Beach Bum. He just had to include Lord Ryan, so that's pretty cool. Good morning, Beach Bum.
Look, ever since I bought my piece of land in Scotland and then earned my lordship, as with Scottish tradition, I am actually really, really impressed. We've always kind of put nice people around us. So our trading community, a whole bunch of really, really good people, but also my video game community, also some pretty nice people, and they all mention it. I'll be honest, I'm the only person I know in my life where people just casually referred to as Lord. And it doesn't mean a deity thing or anything like that. It's just really kind of cool. So I'll take that too. I think it's really awesome. That was one of my better decisions, to be quite honest with you, just kind of goofing around. So, all right, let's get down to brass tacks here. Let's go ahead and take a look at what's moving. The first thing that we're going to do here is start with the SPY. So let me go ahead and do that. We are pretty much just hanging out here at the top of the range. Now, one of the things that I had mentioned, the big news here is going to be Nvidia's split. If we look inside on the SPY, we can kind of get an idea of what Friday was like here, right? So we had the jobs number that sank us. We ended up moving higher, and then we closed at just about flat, maybe a little bit red, but for the most part, just about flat. The end of the afternoon really felt like really nothing could bounce. It was really kind of just selling ahead of the weekend. We look at this today, it appears that we're drifting lower. So I think the overall question here is, were market participants caught offside? Were there people that thought for sure we were going to get a rate cut or maybe 2 rate cuts this year? We get the jobs number. Sure seems to me, at least my eye, we're not getting a rate cut 2024. I don't really see the need for a rate cut in 2024. I know the market, when we have had multiple discussions about the market maybe pricing in a rate cut or 2, and that's why we were trading up instead of selling off over these past couple of weeks. We'll see. Your guess is as good as mine. I'm going to stay in the camp, no rate cut in 2024, and it seems to me that the market is kind of coming to grips with that. Now, we'll see if that holds up here today. Market may rage right out of the open here and go higher. I don't think that's going to happen, but we'll see if that's what happens here.
So far, Ryan, we're in bullish territory. I think anything above the real body high of 531.20 here is definitely bullish. That would be a trigger for me to get into a swing to the short side if we get below that 531.20. But what I hear is a lot of people down on Wall Street are talking about the debt, basically the household debt, I guess, household savings. And savings is as low as 3% now, I hear.
Yeah, so that's one of the things that's being discussed there is how consumers have blown through their savings, don't have savings, and are starting to move purchases to credit cards, whether they're purchases, emergency purchases, etc. And so that obviously is going to contribute to a weakening consumer, which I suspect we're going to see going into the tail end of this year. Now, the election here is the big wild card. You know, I can't predict what's going to go on with the election. A couple of things here. Thinking about it, says my audio is cracking. Does anyone else notice a problem with my audio?
Only ever slightly, yeah.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be doing it at all, and I'm not sure how I'm going to fix that without kind of jostling some of my connectors around. So we'll see. We'll see if I can fix that. Hopefully, it's not bad. Yes, a number of people are saying that it is. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm not sure what I'm going to do about that. I really hope it's not too bad and you guys can still hear me. Andy, you might Andy in the golden pipes over there, you might have to carry us here today until I can. Okay, and you guys are saying my audio sounds fine, so maybe it's just something on the other end. Was happening on PMP. It was happening on PMP also. Purgatory Park. That's nothing on my end. That is an internet or a site thing. Okay, cool. Just wanted to get through that. I'm sorry, did I interrupt you there?
No, I was just saying you sound great. But if you don't mind, real quick, I would say that the loosening of giving out credit I see that as like a stimulus, and I don't know if they're tightening that up right now, but I do believe that when that happened, a lot of people started spending on credit, and we are getting really high in this debt cycle, and we're probably going to pull back. Now, does that mean that we're going to pull back in the market? I don't know.
Yeah, that's actually a really good question. The market, that's we're talking about actual people positions. It'll be interesting to see if the market reflects any of that. Really good point. Okay, the other big thing that's kind of going on with the market here today, we'll see if it's a big thing. We'll see if this really kind of starts a couple of things, and we'll discuss what we're talking about here. Nvidia is only $120 today. No, it didn't sell off. It did its split that we've kind of been waiting for. This happened at the end of the session on Friday. First day, it is reflected here today. The one thing that I will notice here, and I'm not going to put too much stock into this until we actually get the market to open here, but the one thing I'm noticing is we were not able to get above any of the highs here from Friday's session. So we sold off immediately. We rallied right back up to where we were in the after-hour session, and we've broken down. One of the reasons that this is key for me is because our happy hour group, we've been trying to figure out when is it that the market's going to pull back. The market is really kind of overcooked due for a pullback. Maybe the Nvidia split will be one of the catalysts for that. Funds and traders are just going to have more Nvidia shares than they're used to, perhaps over their allotment, maybe book some gains, sell some of this, and that could maybe kind of bring Nvidia down. Now, the good news here is if people are selling their positions for a profit in Nvidia, the next question is, well, where are they going to redeploy their cash? Are they going to sit in cash, or are they going to buy something else? And I think that that's something that we can kind of look for over the next several weeks. We can see if there's any rotation coming out of Nvidia into other names, whether it's a tech name or otherwise. That's one of the things that I want to look at. It would be really, really interesting if Nvidia splitting was the catalyst that really started to bring the market down. I'm not sure if that's what's going to happen, but that's definitely something we're going to watch. And do you have any thoughts at all on the Nvidia split, either for the stock itself or how it's going to affect the broader market?
I mean, I'm always pretty bullish when there's a split, but I'd like to wait for a really nice entry. No, just now, Ryan, I was just realizing that one of my platforms, I have to re-sign the trader futures agreement, and every single time I log into some platforms, this happens, and I don't know why. So
is that a futures thing? Is that or what? That's strange. I've only just accepted disclosures, I don't know, once every so every months or whatever.
Yeah, I do not know why, but a data agreement just popped up when usually it's just smooth. So that's what was going on with me just now.
Okay. All right, let's go ahead. We've got about 15 minutes here. Let's talk about GME, right? GameStop. This is also one of the big things. This was probably the biggest thing that took place last week until that jobs number, just the trading in general. Of course, on Friday, Roaring Kitty had his big stream. I think at one point there was 500,000 people waiting to get into that stream, which is just impressive numbers for whatever it is, frankly. It seemed to me that nothing really happened, right? Again, this is not something that I necessarily follow. I know there are a number of you in the chat that have been following this for a long time. I've been getting information from a number of you in the chat. Shout out, Becca. You guys have really done a great job kind of following the Reddit boards and stuff like that. So I would lean on you. I want to hear your opinion. Was the stream a success? I mean, I'm looking at the stock price here, and at least my knee-jerk reaction is that this was not a success, right? We kind of popped in anticipation right out of the open after falling. I believe that was on an offering. And then we traded a little bit sideways. And then when it actually started, which I think it started about a half an hour late, we really kind of sold off. I was actually on a presentation when he started, so I couldn't unmute him and listen to him at all. It seemed to me he was acting beat up because the stock price was down. I'm not really sure what kind of catalyst that is or anything. So again, I want to hear from you folks. I want to hear what you guys think. I want to hear your opinion. I want to kind of get a communal opinion. Robert, not wasting any time here. The guy is a clown. The guy is a clown. If whatever your opinion is, I don't care what it is. I want to hear. I was having a discussion about GME, and frankly, I don't know what's going to happen here. I don't know what the end result is going to be, but it's certainly interesting to watch. And furthermore, for us that are always kind of looking for volatility, we found a stock that is volatile almost every day and often has volume pouring in and out of it. So at least it's, at the very least, if we can't understand what's going on and really kind of follow along, or if you just don't care, frankly, which is okay too, at least there's something for us to take a look at. And at least there's something that's got volatility every single day. So again, Andy, do you have any opinion on this? Are you connected to this? How often do you trade? What do you think's going on?
Okay, I'm not a big GME or AMC guy, although I have some right now. I'm a bag holder. I told you I made profit last stream on those, and I'm losing less than I made, so that's good. But the only thing that I can say is that I'm happy that he's on the side of retail, and that it seems like maybe he is there for some change, for the better in the retail environment. But I heard a lot of crazy things. I didn't watch it myself.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Couple of things here real quick. Skull, I appreciate this. I appreciate this take. I'm just going to go ahead and read this aloud and react to it. He just had a fun stream to prove that he is not backed by anybody and that it's actually is him behind his accounts. Okay. Well, first of all, that's great. I know with the internet, there can be a lot of subterfuge. Let's just leave it at that and be as PC as possible. I can appreciate this, Skull, right? I can appreciate getting on there, logging into her account, being like, hey, it is me. I'm not full of crap. I'm not sure that actually brings me any closer to what the end goal is, which is kind of, I guess, what I'm trying to figure out here. As a trader, I am always trying to figure out what the end goal of the company is and then see if that company's mispriced. And if so, there's a trade to be had there. I'm not sure that's what's going on here in GME. And like I said, I started to get involved in, and I know we only got 10 minutes left here. I will prepare you with some of the movers that are going to be on deck today, but I really kind of wanted to finish this thought here. Never really opined about GME before. One of the things that's interesting about this is that there's two things kind of going on that I thought about over the weekend. Number one, apparently Roaring Kitty is posting more memes that have to do with Uno cards. So unfortunately, I don't really know what that means. I'd like to know what that means, but I don't know what that means. I guess there's a hidden date. Some people are surmising that there might be a hidden date in there that's coming up here in June. I don't know. You folks will have to tell me. The other thing is that companies should have cash now, right? They didn't have great earnings. They've done several offerings recently. They should have cash. Part of me wonders if they're trying to kind of turn GME into a holdings company of sort. I guess you could compare it to Berkshire, but I wouldn't necessarily want to have any really serious comparison from GME to Warren Buffett. But maybe, this is the video game, the brick and mortar video game store, kind of a dying business. Maybe kind of turn this into a holdings company, buy other businesses, make money off that. I don't know. If that's the case, then Roaring Kitty and all of the shareholders are kind of in on that at the ground floor. If this is the ground floor, hopefully it's not the top floor and has the stock fall out of bed. I don't know. A lot of stuff that's going on. Like I said, I don't know what the answer is here. I'm just kind of along for the ride. So I really want to hear what you folks think.
In his stream, he mentioned how what he's doing right now is another YOLO play, just like before, as he said. Just wanted to mention that.
Okay, so that's almost seems like, this is another YOLO play, or he's talking about another one.
This is another YOLO play.
That to me, that to me almost feels like there's some pump and dump stuff in there, right? I mean, like that's my. I don't want to be accusatory or anything like that. But that to me doesn't seem like the greatest. That to me doesn't seem like the greatest thesis. I don't know. We'll see. What do you folks think? I'll go through those comments here in a sec. I do want to prepare you for some morning movers here today. Andy, if you have anything, whether it's, and thank you, Alyssa, if you have anything in terms of stuff that you want to trade or any thoughts that just kind of come to you on GME, please jump in there and interrupt me. But let's at least go ahead and take a look at the movers tool here today and see what's on our gap list. First stock here is going to be ticker DSY. This is Big Tree Cloud Holdings, and this is accompanied with a PR here this morning. Big Tree Cloud shares are trading higher following the completion of the company's business combination with Plutonian Acquisition Corp. And amid continued volatility following its NASDAQ debut last week. Okay, so a lot of buzzwords in here. This is going to require some more due diligence, if you will. I'm not really sure what Plutonian Acquisition Corp is. Stock performance here, I guess, a little bit concerning. We're still up 106% at the moment right now. You can see if we go back here, we were actually up much more than that. We were about 650 here. Stock has come all the way back into about $4. The good news here is that the volume looks good in the pre-market so far. So as long as we have good volume in the regular session, we should be all right there. And we're only 40 cents away from our VWAP. So even just kind of a small move back to the VWAP might give you a trade. If this builds and really kind of goes through the VWAP, maybe we will get one of those runners there. I'm not sure that I trust this PR here. I'm not familiar with what the other company does. Just that's what's going on here. Andy, did you take a look at DSY today? Does it look like you'll be trading this one?
Okay, DSY, the only thing I'll tell you is we're below the VWAP right now. I'm looking at my 5-minute. We're holding and being cradled on that 65. So that could be a launch pad if we do pop back towards the highs at all. And we have a low float, 10.25 million from what I'm seeing here, thereabouts. So, and the float's a different reading at different times from different places. So it's not going to be the exact same number. So pretty much, I mean, I do like that we're being cradled on that 65, and we could get that launch pad, but I would be looking more towards a little tiny trade up to that VWAP and a rejection, more likely than going back to the highs. But hey, anything's possible with these things.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, Andy. Obviously, if I took this right here, let's just say hypothetical situation, we have a nice little volume move out of the open here. We take this long at 4. I'm out at 436. I think that first, or at least lightning part of it, right? At least paying yourself on the way up there. Okay, good stuff there, DSY. Next one here is going to be HOVR. We've played this one before. This was a former penny stock, busted into dollar territory. Honestly, pre-market chart here, it looks like we're going back to penny stock territory. This is what we've seen before on HOVR. we should absolutely be prepared that that's likely what's going to happen here today. Honestly, given some of the other things that are going on in the market, I'm almost certain I'm not going to trade this here today. This would really have to kind of show a setup for me to feel pretty good about it. We've seen this one in the past, hasn't been great for us. So that's kind of where we are.
HOVR looks a lot like how stocks die 101 here to me. And again, we have a float that's less than 10 million, 7.5 million thereabouts. And anyways, so I'm not
die 101. I might reuse that, by the way, Andy. Just throwing that out there.
Like, it goes along with the shirt. First rule in penny stocks is I'm up, they see me, I'm down. And first thing that happens is it looks amazing. Then I touch it, and then it gets into this this bearish formation of how stocks die 101. And, you know, hopefully I get out of the way like any good trader should.
Yeah. Okay. Good stuff there. Next one here on the list is going to be BNRG. This should actually be really familiar because we talked about this on Friday. Now, Friday, you can see we actually popped in the pre-market, really had kind of a weak rest of the pre-market, and then the entire session was weak. There was maybe one bounce in here that you had to be lucky, frankly, to catch. And again, you would have had to lighten that at the VWAP. Never really crossed and moved through the VWAP, which is what we really want to see out of some of these better plays, if you will. Now, this morning on Bren Miller, doesn't look like it's selling off like it did the last time it did this. It looks like it's holding those. But again, to me, first thing we want to see, we want to make sure that the situation is different. We want to see if the situation is different from Friday. And until this stock really kind of moves through the VWAP and gives us any type of holdable, tradable setup, I'm a little bit skeptical. It is gapping here. We'll watch it. Not sure if we're going to end up trading this one. Boyle here really quick. I know we're running out of time. I want to get to the end here. Boyle, natural gas trading up here. Boyle, of course, going to be one of the levered vehicles to do that. UNG would be another way that you could play this if you were looking to play natural gas. I have no trade plan here for natural gas, to be honest with you. I generally speaking, try to stay away from natural gas just from some of my own experiences and what I've learned about it. But Boyle on deck here today. That's why it's gapping. A couple of other things here. Southwest is gapping up here this morning. Southwest Airlines shares trading higher following a report indicating Elliott Investment Management has built a stake in the company. So it looks like we have an activist investor getting involved there. That is popping Southwest here just over 2 points here today, or about just 2 points here, about 7%. So we'll see if Southwest gives us a trade. I actually kind of want to take a look at the daily there. It's actually not bad. This might be coming off the bottom. Ticker LUV, keep that in mind. A couple more that I wanted to cover here just real quick. RR, this is Rich Tech Robotics. This popped and dropped pretty much back to where it's at. We'll see if it goes. RVSN, ex-girlfriend, really kind of flirting with dollar territory. Be careful on this one. Don't get sucked into that. CrowdStrike. We talked about CrowdStrike. I think Anne-Marie gave us a trade on CrowdStrike last week. CrowdStrike shares trading higher as it was announced. The company will join the S&P 500. That's generally pretty bullish for these companies. Look for CrowdStrike to move through 370 here. Pretty good chart, and it looks like it's going to try to go for the all-time highs. We talked about GME. We will continue to talk about GME. I'm sure that will stay top of mind for everybody here. So we will take a look at that. All right, let me get my scanner queued up here. Boy, I got to figure out where is my... It's gone. It's gone. My main workspace here is gone. You got to be kidding me. All right, we'll go ahead and load that real quick. Boop. Just give me a sec. We'll go ahead, flip over to the scanner. Then I'll go ahead and trade the pool up here. Oh, this is one of the things from beta, which is not released yet. Here's my main workspace. Now we're all set to go. Okay, so we're gonna get this up. I'm gonna have this on a different screen. I'm gonna flip over to trade the pool. Let's take a look at GME and perhaps let's get this in here. Let's remove this. Let's fix this. We're ready to go. We did see Nvidia was popping right into the open there at the end of the pre-market session. So we'll see if this actually gears up and runs. There we go. So we will see here on Nvidia. The good news here is that we actually moved through the VWAP there. Okay, I'm going to try and cover some of this real quick. Oh, someone had asked me about the Chewy chart going into the day here today. I don't really feel so bad. Chewy kind of pulled back with the market. Jay was right to mention that Jay, you had said, I hope I trimmed going into, I did. You were absolutely right about that. That was the right way to play this. I don't feel bad about this. If this falls today, though, and really kind of looks bad, we'll just close it for a profit and move on. Okay, we are open. Good luck. Giddy up. Hope you all are doing well. Let me see. Let me know what you folks are trading here today. I'm going to bring GME up here first. GME's first move here is down. Don't know if it's me, but your microphone sounds scratchy. Not you. His mic is cutting out. No, you guys, this is crazy. I've gotten reports that my microphone is fine and reports that it's bad.
Sound great and clear to me the whole time, so I don't know what it is.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure either.
There was just a little bit of crackling when you moved way earlier. Haven't heard it since.
Got all types of cord hell going on in there. So, okay. It's intermittent. Mike is great. Yeah, this is crazy. It's crazy. You guys are like all over the map on what it sounds like. So, okay, I'm going to do the best job that I can. Andy, what are you seeing out there? KWE, it looks like?
Honestly, Ryan, I just had some problems with my charts and I had to correct it. But yes, KWE. And also one of the, I don't even know which one that was now. HOVR, I believe it was.
You guys have me paranoid. Like I'm just adjusting all of my different stuff here. We'll take a look here at HOVR. That looks poor. None of these gappers look great so far. DSY. I don't know.
So we're up 145% right now in KWE with 29 million traded. Marty started really yelling at that one, so I don't think Marty likes it.
So this is a penny stock. This just popped out of the open here, KWE.
Yeah, I think this is the one that we didn't you didn't cover. That was 78 cents, and right out of the open we went up over $1. So
yep.
It's pretty cool.
TAOP was another one that was on the gap list here earlier today. Look at the pull on that. Boy, I'm having some issues with my charts here too. It's like not drawing the candle. We'll see if that clears up as I continue to kind of roll through tickers here. HOVR maybe turning around. Anyone see anything else moving here?
I just went slightly green in that Leafly trade, Brian.
Oh, did you hold that over from last week?
I did. It didn't do anything to me and enough for me to let it go. So here I am sitting in a little bit of profit. Could reject. I don't know.
Okay. Good stuff there. Leafly, that's ticker LFLY. Okay, so interesting. Yeah, I'm definitely having an issue here with the broker. Here's Nvidia. So we had a nice little spike out of the open, although it's pulling back. I expect this to be volatile here before this really kind of chooses a direction. Are any of you folks trading Nvidia? Do you have any plan here on Nvidia?
Wow, Nvidia's nuts.
Yeah, it sure is here. It looks like it's trying to hold on. I've got VWAP at 120.21. It's trying to hold that here. We'll see if it can go higher. Remember, the spot that we couldn't get over, here, let me get this menu out of here. Spot that we couldn't get over was right in here at about 121. Now, we did trade above that briefly on this candle, but we didn't close above it. Watch that 121 area here on Nvidia.
I'm looking at AMD on the percentage chart here, down 4.35% compared to the others. And that's got me a little worried with Nvidia as well.
Yeah, Nvidia. So AMD here. AMD is actually trying to bounce. Let's see if it's changed here on Nvidia. This kind of all over the map. I'm not opposed to trying Nvidia here. Okay, let's see what the chat is trading. Market Sniper, you're looking at Wolf. That's ticker WULF, Wolf. Boy, I tell you what, all of my candles are being drawn incorrectly here. Hopefully that shakes out here. Wolf, this did pop right above 308 is your high print there. Gurn, maybe. This really needs to kind of pick up in volume. This moved on Friday, but didn't give us a great trade there. Danielle is looking at AMD and JP Morgan. Oh, wait, AMD, JP Morgan downgraded AMD. Okay, interesting. Well, that's trying to bounce off that downgrade. It'd be interesting to see if this resolves lower here. Looks like the low print. Let me see. Tell you what, these candles make this extremely difficult. Yeah, new lows here on AMD. Sorry, I'm going to do the best I can. Obviously, my technology is giving me some trouble here today between the candles and the sound here. DSY trying to hold in here. This has really not even moved back to VWAP yet.
I'll be back in just a second, Ryan.
Yep, I'm looking around to see if there's anything else going on. How's Tesla doing real quick? Tesla looks like that is bouncing. That actually moved through VWAP here on Tesla. Would love to see if this can have some strength. That Tesla actually keeps going here. It's a little bit more volatile than Nvidia. VRT working, says Jay. This was I think you've been trading this for a while. I can't remember if you started a new position on Friday. Remind me what you did here. VRT higher. Boy, all of my candles out of the open not being drawn correctly. I wonder what's going on there. Nvidia 120.50 at this point. I think we probably go higher here on Nvidia. What do you guys think? And then Vasu mentioning here, Worldwide Developers Conference starting here today for Apple. Apple on the lows here out of the gate. I guess we ought to check that out as well. Apple on the lows here. The big thing for me from this Worldwide Developers Conference, what are they going to talk about when it comes to AI? Is their AI product, does it look good? Is there hype around it? To me, that's really what this is going to be about. You remember we talked with Nick last week. Nick reminded us that Apple generally doesn't like to do products unless they're fully fleshed out. That might be one of the reasons they're a little bit delayed with their AI project, but that's what's going on here. Apple at the lows ahead of that Worldwide Developers Conference. What time, Vasu, what time does that start? I should probably, let me see if I can find that here in my newsfeed. Give me a sec. Give me a second. Let me know if you folks have anything else going on in terms of trades that I can put up here. Has to bring massive improvement. Okay, so MLGO, this is popping here. Good call, Market Sniper. This did pop right out of the open here. Still having my candles, still having trouble with the way the candles are drawn here. Thankfully, I've got another chart that seems to be working.
And so far on the SPY, we're sitting right below that previous weekly candle, real body rejection.
Okay. I haven't even really looked at the SPY yet. Let me bring that up here for you, Andy.
I'm anticipating popping up a little bit, getting that upper shadow, and maybe getting a rejection at the highs, and then coming back in and getting that real body rejection yet again, reclaiming it.
Let's see if we get rejected by the VWAP right here. Market definitely feels weak. Looking around here, everything feeling weak. Even Tesla kind of backed off the highs there. Here's Nvidia. Nvidia is still kind of trying to figure it out. Yeah, I'm sorry, folks. I got all types of technical issues here. I will try and restart all my stuff later on. Here you go on Nvidia. I guess this is trying to go higher here. We'll see on Nvidia. I don't trust this. I think that this, now that the split is kind of out of the way, maybe one of the next things to do here is sell off a little bit.
Yeah, we have a strong divergence between Nvidia and AMD right now.
Here is your AMD chart. AMD continuing to make new lows here. Watch that 160 level. 161 they're holding on to at the moment.
Yeah, this really makes me interested in a possible short up here on Nvidia if we can pop. I'd like to see a little more strength first.
All right. How's some of the other tech names doing, like CrowdStrike? CrowdStrike higher. Okay. BNRG, WIS, that was one from our list here. Man, every chart that I bring up is drawn incorrectly. Every single chart. I'll be honest, that is definitely making me nervous for trading, but I will do my best here.
Yeah, with so many names looking weak, really not feeling too confident on the long side. And last time I said that, the market ripped, so. It's the cool thing about being a trader. We don't have to be right. We just have to stick to the rules.
All right. Let's see. What else are you guys?
And the market just dropped to a lower low as well.
Kind of shocked anyone would be in Nvidia, maybe 125, but that's it. Up 20%. Dude, look at TLT. I can't that this channel is doing anything before order flow is finished. It's weird. I'm not sure what you're trying to get at there. Good luck though. MLGO, did we finally get halted there? Man.
Sorry guys, I was looking on a lower time frame chart and that information is not correct about the lower low on the market. Guess it's all relative in the end anyways, right?
All right, I'm going to try and restart trade the pool here real quick cuz I am dealing with a whole bunch. I'm sorry. I'll stop talking about it. Sorry for all the dead air, folks. Trying to get my trade the pool back open here. Nope, not great. All right, don't really see anything on the scanner at all. Let me see if I can figure out what's going on the Twitter streets. Everything is lagging. Sure seems like that. Let me bring Nvidia up here. MLGO here. Let me go ahead and bring this up. MLGO continuing to rip here. So it looks like this is the one thing that we found here so far. I got a GME LOL. Let's see where GME's at here. God. Oh my God. GME, $26 here. Folks, I'm really, really sorry about the in fact, I might actually just kind of close this until it looks like Pro's giving us more. Oh my Lord. Oh my Lord. Here we go. I'm just going to stick with BZ Pro for right now. Sorry that nothing's working correctly here today. DSY, maybe we're curling back to the VWAP. So we did get that VWAP trade here on DSY. See if we actually go through that here.
KWE still holding up around that dollar.
Oh, 13, you are here. Didn't even realize that you are around. Hopefully you're doing well here this morning. Say that one more time. What? KWE?
Oh, KWE, we're still holding up just below a dollar here, or at a dollar.
I like every time I go to this is not what the chart looks like. This is not what Nvidia looks like. It is like deleting candles. Sorry, I'm making reports live here. I really apologize for the dead air here.
Okay, guys, if Nvidia breaks below this 119.28, that's going to look nice to the downside, possibly. This is My idea for that one is looking over at AMD still.
Okay. I'm gonna have to just not use trade the pool at all today, I'm afraid. Ryan, your audio earlier sounded like CPU was not 100%. Maybe check Task Manager for CPU. I don't think so, dude.
Might need to clear your cache.
CPU right now, utilization 68% with everything running.
Sarah says she hears you clear. She's on a totally different
Yeah,
computer.
so does Alyssa. Alyssa hears me clear. It's like, it's crazy. It's like some of you don't hear me, some of you do hear me. Okay, Glenn saying here, this is actually a really important, I guess, realization. Never trade with suspicious data. If something is off and you can't make sense of it, do not trade with it is the right move. I'm going to probably sit this one out. Sit this out here today. I'll let you know. Maybe I'll do it in my swing account.
I can't tell you if it was the day the whole market crash was, but we had data issues on every single platform that day. First, my broker TradeStation started having some data issues. I looked over, Benzinga Pro was not working, Trend Spider was not working, and basically everywhere I looked, and that was like, wow. Like you said, once you see a little bit of smoke, there's likely fire. And things go wrong so easily in trading as it is. We don't want to make it worse by,
Yeah, exactly. That's one of the things that you can do is just not make it worse. That's step number one. All right, we'll keep checking out the scanner here, though. That won't stop us. But look at HOVR, by the way. I talked about this one. We've seen this before. We've seen this move before. We know how this trades. We know how this can really kind of disappoint. It is exactly what it's doing here today. So at least we stayed safe on that one.
Yeah, my chicken dinner scanner didn't have anything this morning, and it still barely has anything as it is. Just DSY.
Yeah, DSY looks to be really the only thing going here today.
RENB as well.
DSY actually did get through its VWAP here, which is pretty interesting. That Chewy chart, not great. All right, Chewy kind of falling out here. Going to have to close, though, the rest of those calls. We sell off pretty much anymore. Chewy at 22.16. I mean, a dip into the 21 handle might have to close that trade. Thankfully, we already have gains booked, so we can't lose on it. But man, oh man, was hoping some more.
A lot of times, though, Ryan, this is what live trading is. You have to readjust, and you have to fix things, and you have to get prepared for the day when you didn't think you would have to.
Not everything works out the way it should all the time. CrowdStrike just reclaiming its VWAP here. We'll see if CrowdStrike can go higher. This was above 380 earlier. High here, 384 just about. We'll see if we can get back up there. CrowdStrike looking all right here this morning. You're getting data problems on TOS. Okay, that I haven't seen yet here today, so it seems to be intermittent. That's the other thing. That's why I initially was thinking maybe it was just my internet, but no, TOS has been working flawlessly from the pre-market here. Nvidia, by the way, so I think now we might be choosing a direction. Market is going to be lower here on the SPY. We just breached through 533 to the downsides in a 532 handle. Nvidia really, really hunting for those lows. Watch the 118 level. That was going to be the low pre-split from Friday. We'll see if that level breaks here.
Do you have any news on RENB?
Let me see. RENB. Let me bring that up.
Float seems to be 124 million, so not a low float.
I got nope, nothing new here today. The last thing was a Form 144 from last Thursday. Andy, I've got nothing new here on RENB. Maybe this is just kind of a momentum trade.
Yeah, you got that report, proposed sale of securities.
Yeah, that was from Thursday. Okay, yeah, this this looks like just kind of a Momo trade. Let me see what some of my other day trading friends are up to. Also check Twitter and see if Twitter has anything for us. Haven't seen anything yet. Nope, don't see a whole lot out there. Okay, let's check the Twitter street.
MLGO 3.6 million traded up 44%.
MLGO and Renby. Those look to be the two movers here today. No chance for me trading those with the issues that I had. KWE, look at this. This looked like this was going for $1 right there. Big knife through the VWAP to the downside. Halted now here to the downside.
It looks like the MLGO is a low float here with 4.45 million in the float.
HOVR, maybe this found a bottom here. I don't trust it, but you do you. HOVR curling here. Actually, the volume changed to buying volume there. That's pretty good to see too. We'll see if that ends up moving here. DSY, that had broken through the VWAP. Big knife. Now it looks like we've retested the VWAP. Careful here unless this can confirm it's going to go higher.
Nvidia looking nice on that short.
Did you hit that short? That Renby, wow, I took this off the screen for 1 second. Renby, another leg up here, right through to 234 hit. Boy, Renby, this was the move. This was the one to play here, Renby.
That's the one with the 100 million float though, right?
Yes, this does have 100 million float. Still ripping though. At highs here. Looks like that is halted to the upside. 234 here on Renby.
We could have some potential support here in Nvidia. Here on the 5-minute, looking, this is exactly where the previous low was. I wouldn't be wanting to buy it here, but I mean, yeah, I'm just not that risky today.
Nvidia through the lows from Friday here. So let's see where a potential bounce spot would be on Nvidia on the daily chart here. Tell you what, I think we might get one right in here. What, 116? It's only $1 away now. 116, 115 looks to be some pretty good support for Nvidia. I tell you what, if that breaks though, we're probably going all the way into 110. 115, 116 going to be your next spots here on Nvidia to keep in mind. Drewski will give you a cash register ring this morning. Looks like you're extracting money from MLGO. We'll take that. ALTR getting mentioned by you folks.
Looks like MLGO has a long way to go back up to the highs too.
ALTR continuing to push up here. Look, what was this? What was this piece of news? Oh, this is just a move to the S&P 500, and they also had a global AI for engineers global virtual event. Okay, another AI name.
And MLGO was just a multi-day runner previously as well.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was.
It's always interesting when you find some support on a multi-day runner like that. Nvidia doesn't have any quit in it.
No, that's hunting lows. We just gave you the spots there on Nvidia. We'll see if we break 117 to the downside. I'm going to roll through some more stocks here off the scanner. DSY making another attempt at its VWAP. We'll see. HOVR really kind of falling out here.
Market is really holding up well with all this going on.
532 on the SPY. KKR still holding on to up. That was added to the S&P 500 as well.
That's a nice one. I like that one.
You like KKR? You trade that one a bunch?
That's just a nice dividend stock that I like to keep an eye on. I don't even think it's that great as far as a dividend stock, but the name, I like it a lot.
Gotcha. Not seeing anything really crazy on options either. Got some Nike calls. Nike 100 calls are bought here.
APO and KKR.
Real quick here, this Nike trade, pretty interesting. This is going to be a gap fill up to the 100. We are in the gap on the daily chart here. Just saw some options trade through here on Nike. Nike looks like there's some more. Got a repeat buy here now. These expire in September 20 expiry, by the way. So Nike look like they're playing. This is only 3.5 points, but looks like they're playing that via the options market. Some big aggressive moves there on Nike calls, the 100 calls from the September contract. ARGI penny stock. Yikes. Not a penny stock day here. PRA. So we got a rumor here on Opera. Interesting. So Opera Limited, this is going to be, this is up today. It's up 16, almost 17%. Traders circulating an unconfirmed rumor that Opera will have some involvement in today's Apple Worldwide Developer Conference event. Opera shares trading higher on high volume. Is this the same company that makes the Opera browser? Does anyone know?
That's what I was wondering.
That's I think so. Here, let's see what they say here about the overview. Internet brand with large tangled knowledge base. Right, PC and mobile browsers. Yep, bingo. That's exactly what that is. Okay, so Opera up here on anticipation of that Worldwide Developers Conference. Something to watch for if there's a disappointment here or maybe a fallout from something like this. This actually might be a short from where it's at. Just saying, we'll see. Keep an eye on Opera. That's going to be tied to the conference here today. You guys were mentioning Renb is halted. We already talked about Renb halted at 234. Is not unhalted yet. Born, you think they're getting rid of Safari in favor of Opera? I cannot see them doing that. Zoltan reminding you to keep DraftKings on your radar. DKNG saying that the Euros is about to start. Zoltan, help me out here. This is the European tournament that's starting. Is this going to be on TV? Like, do we get to watch soccer here at 9-10 o'clock in the morning? Because that would be really sweet. Watch DraftKings, though. Remember, the trade that we talked about on DraftKings is this little curl. And let me see if I can zoom in on it a little bit more for you. We were testing going into the gap here, break of this top candle. Let me get you that exact value here. $38, right? $37.99. So a break of 38 here. This gap doesn't fill to about 40 and change. So got a 2-point gap on DraftKings. Zoltan, I like the thesis here on this trade as long as this can hold up. MLGO, let's take a look at that.
Just locked in some profit on a scalp trade here in the market up at the VWAP for the futures.
Were you just trading the SPY or the futures ticker for S&P?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really too confident in it, but when you get moving fast like that, why not grab it if it's going to be moving, right?
Man, just a second ago, the only stocks in the green that I had on my scanner were penny stocks. Stuff that I am just not going to play.
I don't care how far it moves as long as it takes me in the direction that I want to go. And Nvidia, wow. AMD catching a little bounce.
Chewy can't get above its VWAP, although it stopped moving down here, so that's at least decent. Let's take a look at Nvidia real quick and see where we're at. Looks like Nvidia bounced a little bit. Did bounce off that 117, so 116, 115, the big area to watch for. This so far bounced from 117.
Market looks like it's about to break its bearish configuration or formation.
They came in hard and bought the August 125 calls on this move down here on Nvidia. See, more recently than that, I'm seeing some 118s on Nvidia.
So looking for some potential support now in Nvidia.
These were some shorter terms, 118, 120 on Nvidia. Definitely bought calls on that move down.
As long as we're below this 118.49, still bearish on Nvidia, but I'm looking for some support to pop above that.
Let's take a look through some of these scanner stocks here. HOVR, maybe this is curling off the bottom. RenB is open. Ooh, look at the knife on RenB right beneath the VWAP here.
So why not grab some RenB, Ryan?
I'm not touching really anything here with the tech issues that I'm having. No thanks.
I'm not telling you guys to do it. I just decided that was the time for me on RenB, so I'm in.
Okay.
Don't follow me, please, or do you? You do you? Yeah.
13 here saying that Nvidia formation looks like it's going lower. My gut tells me Nvidia continues to go lower here too. 13. We were kind of trading around even right out of the open there. That I'm surprised it lasted as long as it did, frankly. Lower we go here on Nvidia. RenB broke beneath its VWAP as well.
RenB is holding that 65 over on the 15 second. This is looking like a really nice place to start forming some consolidation here.
Seeing JP Morgan and Morgan Stanley calls getting bought. Morgan Stanley lower, JPM and JPM 200. That's a tough one to trade. I should have just bought and hold on JPM there. Okay. I know we were battling some tech issues here, but it is 10 o'clock in the morning on a Monday. And Andy, you know what that means. That means it is time for our friend Matt Maley. Let me go ahead and bring him on here. Matt, happy Monday. How you doing, my man?
Hey, Celtics are up 2-0. So the people up here in Boston are very happy. So it's a good day so far. But
okay.
Don't want to talk too early, though. We still got a long way to go.
I was going to say these series, it'll be interesting. And isn't it a case in basketball? It's not really a series till the home team loses. We haven't had that yet. So
it's a long way to go. No question. I don't want to jump the gun. That's for darn sure. I mean, the Celtics won pretty easily the first two games, but actually the second game wasn't that easily, but they got a long way to go. And the Mavericks are a great team. So
yeah, they sure are. I'll tell you what, Luke is something else. That is something else. So we'll see on that. Boston looking pretty strong though. Matt, let's talk about the market here real quick. I think the things I want to start with, the two biggest things on deck here, we got the jobs number from Friday that's sent the market down, at least in the pre-market. And then we've got Nvidia's split here today. So I'd like to know, what you kind of think this means. Let's start with the jobs number. What did you think about the print and the market reaction last Friday?
Well, I mean, there were a lot of people were getting excited about what the Fed was going to become more dovish more quickly. I mean, they've been bouncing around, in the last couple of months anyway. But people definitely thought that, at least an earlier first rate cut or maybe even 2 rate cuts this year was suddenly becoming the narrative over after some weak numbers. And then Friday kind of turned that whole thing around. Friday turned that whole thing around. So, and we saw we got a bigger impact in the bond market with yields really spiking higher. And that kind of takes that off the table. And so, the one thing I've been concerned about for a long time anyway is that people keep talking about, as long as the Fed cuts interest rates, we're going to be fine. And I'm like going, well, actually, what they have to do is cut them in a preventive way, in a preemptive way. In other words, to avoid a real slowdown in the economy. That's great in theory, but they've only done it once in 70 years. So they've been successful doing that. Every other time, and that was in the mid-1990s, 1995, every other time they've always gone too late. The economy has slowed down, earnings have come down, and those interest rates were cuts were too late. So I'm a little concerned, especially with inflation remaining at least somewhat elevated, that they're going to be able to accomplish that goal this time around.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I feel like they're always slow to react, at least since I've been following. I feel like that's just the kind of the MO for the Fed there, always slow to react. And I'll be honest, there have been talk. I'm still in the camp that they were going to have no rate cuts here this year. So I know this is what makes the market. Reasonable people tend to disagree. I'm still in the camp. I'm still in the camp that we get no rate cuts. You mentioned some of the problems there. The other thing that worries me, if we started cutting rates and inflation wasn't under control, then we run the risk of inflation being entrenched, which I think is way worse than the situation we're in now. I don't. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I think a lot of people misunderstand. I mean, a lot of people are saying, well, the Fed put is still alive and all this stuff, but the Fed has been on the record saying if inflation remains a problem, we need to take care of that, because inflation, consistent inflation for a long period of time is worse than it will make a recession worse. In other words, what they've said is we'll let a recession happen if that's what it needs to take to tame inflation. And they've been on the record on that. They haven't said it explicitly like that, but they're basically saying that if we don't tame inflation, and if it does come back in a big way, any recession we do have will be much worse, and we don't want to have that. We're willing to take the medicine it will take. So, and that's one of the reasons we went in last week in the chat room, and we bought the TLT puts on Friday. We made several $100%, almost 500% on those trades on some puts on Friday. So it worked. That kind of trading that we've been doing in our chat room has really worked out well.
Yeah, look, your chat room has absolutely been crushing it. There have been some really, really great calls in there. Look forward to that continuing here. Okay, the next thing that I wanted to ask you about is going to be Nvidia. Obviously today is the first day post split. Okay, the split was on Friday after hours. Nvidia lower here looked like it was kind of trying to figure out where it's going. What do you think this means for Nvidia itself, but then also the overall market? And the reason I'm kind of setting it up that way, Matt, is because some of the discussions we've been having with our own community is, hey, after Nvidia splits, if investors start to maybe take gains or sell this, that might free up capital to rotate into something else. Do you see that at all? What do you think here about the Nvidia split and what's next?
Well, there's a couple of things to consider. First of all, what happens with the individual investor? A lot, the whole idea, because we all know that the actual benefit of a stock splitting is zero. I mean, they're the stock's cut in half, but you get twice as many stocks. I mean, it's not like their earnings improve. Nothing changes fundamentally in the stock. But we do also know that, especially when you get a stock that's as popular as this one, and this one's about as popular as you can get, when it gets really expensive, individual investors, it's hard for them to buy it. It's like, Jesus, if I want to buy 10 shares, it costs me $10,000. I mean, it's so when it gets cheaper like that, they're willing to come in. The problem is, since they announced the stock split, the stock is up 28%. 28%. So a lot of that is priced in to a certain degree. So my point is that we have the long-term investors who especially on the institutional side, they love the stock, they're going to hold it. But there've been a lot of people, even some long-term guys, that said, "Hey, I'm going to add a little bit to this for a flip, because I know all these individual investors are going to come running in and buy the stock as soon as it splits." And what happens if that doesn't happen? Which it's not right now. Some of that fast money is just going to go, "Hey, I only bought this for a flip, or I only added to the position for a flip. So if it's not working, I'm out." And again, it's still too early. It's not even, it's only been trading for half an hour. But if the week goes on and this stock isn't rallying, you'll probably see a lot of that fast money plot. That's not the worst thing in the world. I mean, heck, we've already seen a 20%. I mean, one day where the stock was down 10% this year, and yet it kept going higher. So that's just a trading thing. But on a short-term basis, people need to be very careful about assuming this is going to push the stock higher, because there's a lot of weak hands in the stock after this big rally. Again, just on a short-term basis.
Yeah, and I think those hands are likely weaker too. If you're in this stock for a while, you likely have considerable gains, and now you have 10x more shares. To me, that seems like a really reasonable place to lighten some of the load there. To look at some of the other names here, SMCI, this seems to be outperforming. Pretty big reversal here, red to green move on SMCI. AMD here, this was actually early on. This was kind of diverging from Nvidia. Seems to kind of caught up now. So we'll see if any of these other names, if there's kind of a rotation into any of these. You got anything on the radar that you're kind of looking at here? Are you looking at any banks? See anything that you're kind of just planning the next trade for?
Well, a couple of things too. Number one is still in the tech area. Well, banks is one I'm definitely looking at. But before we move that, I might as well stick here with the tech stocks. This is, of course, Apple. They have their big investment presentation today, And, the stock has rallied very, very nicely in the last 2 months or so, since mid-April, 6 weeks or so. And they've been really touting this, hey, yeah, we're a little behind in AI, but we're jumping in with both feet and everything's going to be great. Well, that narrative has been great, but, where's the beef? And maybe they have some beef. We don't know yet. So they're going to come out today with this announcement. I believe it starts basically now. Although they're on the West Coast. But anyway, I know it's 10 o'clock, but it may be 10 o'clock on the West Coast. I'm not sure.
10 o'clock on the West Coast. I think that starts pretty soon, actually.
Yeah. So anyway, when this presentation comes out, if there's some real beef there, I mean, that's going to be really bullish, because on a technical level, you have the chart right there. We're pushing up against that $200 level, which was incredibly important resistance three other times in the last year or so, or the last, this year. So if it can break above that level, man, that's going to really be bullish. I mean, it's going to be a major, major breakout. However, of course, if it fails and, where's the beef turns out to be, hey, it's not so good, that failure will raise some concerns, because again, it's had a real nice rally here over just the last 6 weeks. Some people will take some chips off the table. I mean, they don't make chips for AI like Nvidia does and Advanced Micro does, et cetera. What they're doing is that, they're basically saying our products are going to sell a lot more. I mean, what they're, usually when they put their software in there, it's like, hey, we got a new phone coming out, but we're going to put it to the older phones. None of this software, at least from what I understand, is going into these. If you want that software, you're going to have to buy a new phone. Does that create a new upgrade cycle? If it does, it's going to be really bullish. If it's not, people are going to say, I've got what I need. I don't, a lot of people like a Siri and things like that. It's like, do I really need that? I don't really need that. So that's going to be disappointing. So it's at a critical level this week. And I guess my point is, I'd be surprised if it just sits here, in the 190, 195 range. It's either going to break out in a big way or roll back over. So it's going to be a very important week for that, I think, for that stock, and have an impact on the rest of the tech sector as well. I
completely agree with you. I think you're spot on for the spot here. I think one of the things that we discussed last week is Apple's not really known for kind of, forgive the term, but half-assing things, right? If they're going to release something, it's going to be good. It's going to be quality. Maybe that's kind of why we're seeing a delay here in the AI, in the AI product. If they release some awesome Siri that's able to summarize things for you and everyone's going to use it, that's probably going to drive more sales. And to your point about where we're at here on the chart, I mean, I could see a breakdown to 170 if it's a disappointment, and a breakout above 200, maybe 210, 215 if things are really good there. And then the other thing that you mentioned there that I really like is, let's see how great whatever they're going to release actually is. Like, we don't know. We can speculate all day about how good it's going to be. Let's see if it actually changes some things or takes market share away from another company.
Exactly. And then even talking about when they do their big fall announcement, that it's really going to be a beta, a test thing. Usually when they announce these things, it is primed to go. They've already telling us that it's not going to be as primed to go as it has in the past. So there is a little, and the thing is, there's just some room for some skepticism. And again, the setup being such a big rally lately, if it's overbought, and that doesn't mean it can't. It's not wildly overbought, but if it won't keep it from breaking out if it's good news, but it could create again some of that fast money to dump their shares on a near-term basis.
Real good. The last thing I'm going to leave you with, you talked about a potential upgrade cycle for the phone here based on the new technology that's going into it. One of the things that I'm going to kind of be watching is, would these features be good for businesses, right? Because if businesses have, or if employees for a business maybe have a 2 or 3 generation old phone, and now all of a sudden you're forcing people into the upgrade cycle, that could be gigantic, especially if you spread that across not only, just individuals that might upgrade the phone, but someone that uses it for work as well. So, okay, Matt, sorry for babbling so much today. A lot going on here. Really appreciate the time. Go Celtics, and we'll catch up with you next Monday.
Sounds good. Yeah, and the other thing, obviously, to watch later this week is on Wednesday with CPI, the Fed meeting, and of course, we have some Treasury auctions this week as well. So, the focus right now is tech. Later this week, it's going to move to the bond market.
Indeed. Thank you so much, Matt. And if you want to check out more of Matt, I'm going to go ahead and post a link to a webinar for Benzinga's Universe. Matt, we'll see you next week. Thanks much.
Sounds great. Thanks, Ryan.
Take care. So, like I said, a lot to see here for Apple. Andy, you got any thoughts on all of this? You got any thoughts on the whole AI, where we see ourselves? I know we spent a lot of time talking about Nvidia this morning, and with good reason. But with the developer conference coming up here for Apple, you got any thoughts on what to do here, either the products themselves or how to trade the actual stock?
Honestly, Ryan, my thoughts are on the charts and that nice bounce on Nvidia all the way up to the VWAP, potential profit taking and rejection there, but basically, I'm just watching that Nvidia and the market here.
Okay. So nothing specific for Apple. For me, one of the things Matt kind of touched on it. I was super excited that he had mentioned that. One of the things that I want to see is any of these new AI features. Is there productivity gains to be had? Because it's one thing to have a bunch of consumers want the newest, shiniest phone. That's great. Should be good for the stock price. That's one thing. But a forced upgrade cycle for people that use it for work, giddy up. That could easily take Apple well above 200. That's one of the things that I'll be looking for here today. Born says the robots are going to take us out. Well, gosh, I sure hope that's not the case. Born, this is why I've been saying from the beginning, if you're going to design any robot, be sure to put a 6-foot extension cord on that thing so it can't chase you very far. That would really be the way to keep yourself protected. Okay, Drew, looks like you're absolutely tearing the market up. You're done for the day. Dude, have a good one and enjoy the rest of your day. What are you folks trading out there? Let's take a look at some of these smaller names. I know we were focusing on the broader market, some of the bigger names here. DSY, are we making another attempt through the VWAP? This one, it looks like we've back tested. Maybe we go higher here, DSY. DSY, this to me looks like 450 might be the spot there. Andy, you in anything? You got any live trades on here right now?
Yeah, but I prefer not to talk about it just yet.
Okay.
I'm watching intently.
Okay.
I'm not in anything red right now, but I'm just paying really close attention to this.
Hey, Sydney, this is your TDW. This is your Tidewater, isn't this? This is pretty good. You've been in this since what? Last year in a 40 handle? Good old TDW here and having a real nice day. Let's take a look at some of those smaller names that we talked about earlier. Wow, look at RenB. Big fade off that VWAP. DSY Boogie. I gotta learn what some of the chat's different code words are here. Boogie. Oh, here we go. Okay, so DSY, this is actually rolling here. DSY is starting to get going. Big pop here. Volume is kind of changed here on DSY. This looking pretty good. I would say with these gains here, if you've got gains in any of these names, especially ones like DSY, be sure to pay yourself on the way up on that. I'm going to roll through some of the others here. Let me actually see if we got these candles. Should be a little bit better now. Let's see what we got here. Okay. Actually, it does look like this is fixed. Shout out, Gil. Really appreciate you. Really appreciate you. Sydney, yeah, still in Tidewater. Okay. That was a really good try. I should have just added that with you when you were talking about that the first time. I'd be a happy person here today. AMD continuing to try to build and move higher from its VWAP here on AMD. Let's check in on Nvidia and see where we're at. Nvidia trying to reclaim there.
So yeah, we had that really nice bounce in Nvidia up to the VWAP, and I was playing the futures side of it. I'm now looking at Nvidia to see if we can get back up to that VWAP. Still looking for that rejection. Now, at that point, or some profit taking. I don't really think we're going to break through yet, but anyways, either way, it's pretty nice at this point. And I just locked in a little bit of profit to get myself out of harm's way. And that's
on which ticker did you? Sorry, I'm having a tough time following you, dude.
Oh, I locked in profit on the futures, but also that Nvidia trade I was telling you about.
Gotcha. So here's the SPY. So I don't pull the futures. I can't pull up the futures ticker here, but there's the SPY. This is just kind of holding out here in no man's land. Looks like we have the making, frankly, of an inside day here on the SPY.
I was going to say something similar to that earlier. Looking over
yeah.
at Flow Trade, we got heavy selling in the SPY and then buying in the Qs. So basically, divergence like that lets me know that we're going to have possibly chop today.
Okay. Looking around at some other
right back at that
VWAP scanner here. Sorry, Andy.
Nvidia is now breaking that VWAP, but we haven't broke that previous candle. So we could continue higher on Nvidia with this bounce. And we are.
It's actually looking pretty good here.
I wasn't very confident above the VWAP here, just to the VWAP, but whatever.
Yeah, let me actually bring Nvidia up. By the way, GameStop has been speaking of VWAP, GameStop's been unable to get above its VWAP and looks like it's kind of moving lower here. Nvidia now, so on Trade the Pool, it's right at the VWAP here. On Thinkorswim, however, we are actually moving through the VWAP here pretty well. We are about 40 cents through the VWAP. Volume looking pretty good here. On this Nvidia move. Look for 120 coming here on Nvidia. Your intraday high print, by the way, if this continues here, just kind of looking ahead, I got 121.26 thereabouts, 121 and a quarter as your intraday high. If that pops, I think this can go higher here. We'll see if it's got the strength to do that, though.
It's one thing I've learned with my trading, Ryan. When we see basically whatever our thesis is, whatever we think is going to happen, but then when we see the reaction to that, and it's not even along with our thesis, it's the opposite. When it holds that next predictable near-term level of support, and it just keeps on keeping that bullish formation, those are about the strongest trades that I've seen.
Okay. Well, you love to hear it. Speaking of that, Jay here saying SMCI, the strength in SMCI, telling you, hey, a short on Nvidia, not a good idea right here. Nvidia, by the way, continuing here 120 up here on Nvidia. We'll see if we move higher. A little bit of size there at 120. That's nothing the stock can't handle.
Just took some profit in Nvidia at the 65 rejection here on the 5 minute.
Another great trade, Andy. I'm going to give you a one up there. Good stuff.
Now, I wasn't very confident above that VWAP, but I mean, like I said, when we have that thing hold the next predictable near-term support, and it just keeps doing that, it's like, why not?
I'm going to try changing the time. I mean, look at this. Look at this is just...
I don't know if you guys have noticed, but since averaging down, I call it the freight train trade. Anytime that the market chooses a direction, it usually just keeps trucking in that direction. If it starts crushing you, as a trader, it's best for me to just get out of the way and let that thing do what it's going to do, because it doesn't usually generally stop when it makes that.
Yeah, so let the freight train be a freight train, but just get the hell out of the way of it.
Right, and then hopefully get on the right side of it as well.
Catch it as it's going by and then ride it to the highs there. Speaking of which, CrowdStrike may be moving higher here. Nvidia is over that 120, so if you were waiting patiently here, this Nvidia trade looking pretty good.
Yeah, no problem getting through that 65 straight up to the 200 now on the 5 minute for Nvidia. This thing is just nonstop. I mean, at this point, I could see it going back up towards that 121, but
no problem at all. Real strong here. By the way, chat mentioning SMR here. SMR, if you look at this daily chart right up here, SMR sure looks like this is kind of curling back up. I've got that top there about 975, so we're $1.25 from where we're at on SMR, but that actually looking pretty good here for a potential swing. Folks, Gerald, were you day trading that? KB, are you day trading that? Are you swinging that? Let us know here on SMR. OP Bose mentioning that Opera here moving towards the highs. Remember, the rumor that was let me actually just double check that, see if there was maybe any confirmation or anything added to this newsprint here. Let's go ahead and consult Pro real quick. OPRA, that's going to be Opera Limited. That is at the high. That actually looks like this is going higher here. We did have this rumor from this morning that traders are circulating an unconfirmed rumor that Opera will have some involvement in today's Apple Worldwide Developer Conference event. Someone in here was floating a potential Safari replacement. That actually, and help me out with the time zones here. I think that starts in the next 36 minutes, right? That starts at 10 a.m. Central, which would be 8 a.m. Pacific. No, that can't be. Let me just look this up. We've already speculated too much on this here today. I'm just going to look this up real quick. Kicks off June 10th. Here is the start time. 1 p.m. Eastern. So that's going to be noon. That is 10 a.m. Pacific. So this doesn't even start for a while. Maybe there's something going on before that. You guys were mentioning 10 a.m. Pacific. Yeah, that's not for another 2.5 hours here. I wonder if they're doing anything ahead of that. Okay. In any case, that's what's going on. 1 Eastern, the official start time for Worldwide Developer Conference. Okay. What else do we see around here?
Missed another nice bullish bounce here on the 65 at 533.36 for the SPY.
You think we go higher? You think we break out of this and go higher? Take out that 533.58?
What I was looking for earlier, Ryan, is that we just pop up from this real body level, pop that upper shadow, and then look for some more downside again. But
okay.
Okay.
So you're looking
right
for
now,
this to roll over then?
It's looking like we're going to have chop either way.
Okay,
It seems more like a Friday, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And I'm short-handed here.
I mean, looking at my volume B scanner, not much going on over there. We do have more tickers in my chicken dinner: DSY, MLGO, RENB, BNAI, IE. Anyways, but as you know, a lot of those are rolling over.
Okay, sorry, folks. Getting blown up here. Boy, this was not the day to be short-handed. I'll tell you that much. Not the day. Okay, let me clear all this away.
Yeah, looking at the ES, we got this strong 200 rate where we just rejected. So, I mean, we could start that now, but we're still holding this, what I call a bullish configuration. Got that 65 cradling it on the 15-second.
I'm sorry.
Some of the 5 minutes. 5 minutes as far as that 200 rejection. If we can reclaim that level, this could be a nice day.
Okay. Sorry about that. Sorry, I'm so messed up here today.
Actually, it is a nice day. I'm green. How about you guys?
Man, oh man. Okay, I'm going to actually just roll through the scanner here real quick. What happened on WLDS? Trading higher as the company announced integration with the Qualcomm Snapdragon devices. Wasn't there a rumor not long ago about this having some wearable device with Apple in their conferences today? I'm pretty sure this stock really, this just a penny stock though. I don't think so. So this pop here on the Snapdragon PR, I don't know. I wouldn't trust this one. We already saw the same old story with Apple. That thing never materialized. Thinking about it, this is a decent question. What if Apple decides to license its AI so it can be used outside of its ecosystem? Well, here's the thing. do you really think Apple would do that? Like, what's the cui bono, right? Who benefits? What's the net gain for Apple? They've spent all these years keeping people tied into their ecosystem. What would be the net benefit of allowing something outside of the ecosystem? I would think that there is very little chance that this would ever happen. Just passing by saying they won't. I'm with you on that. I don't think they would either. Huda is halted. Hudson acquisition. This is halted to the downside in the second time, it looks like. So what if they would have to have a pretty good product thinking about it, but I don't think that they would. And I also don't think that their product would operate in the wild as well as it does in their environment, if you know what I mean. Right? I think if they spun up some product, I think it might work really well on Apple devices and just not outside of the ecosystem. I don't think they'd go that route. Renb, by the way, this thing almost a complete retracement here on Renb. Really kind of disappointing. Take a look at Gurn. This is one from earlier. I don't see it on the scanner anymore, though. Gurn continuing to push higher here. Oh, it looks like it came off the high. That's why it disappeared from the scanner. You seeing anything out there, Andy? You got anything?
Oh, sorry about that. Looking for a potential support here at 119.67 on Nvidia. With
take a look at Nvidia.
With the low on that one at 119.35. Anything below that, we might go bearish again. But I mean, buying something like this totally inside where we're at just doesn't seem reasonable.
I got 119.37 as the VWAP here on Nvidia. That SPY, I don't know what you were just about to say about the market, but you made me look at it right as you said that. This SPY here has done nothing so far today. We are literally just inside a very, very tight range here. What's the volume looking like? 5 million shares traded so far here today. Just this is a summer Monday, folks. This is a summer Monday.
And that's why it feels like a Friday, Ryan.
You're absolutely right about that. I guess I should have put those 2 and 2 together earlier, but you're absolutely right.
Oh man, I remember some summer days just nothing. Like
you know what's crazy about that, Andy, is that one of my mentors that I was talking to was like, yeah, my biggest ever trading day came on some random summer Friday. It's just sometimes you just don't know when the good opportunity is going to be there. Really have to stay ready in order to do that. But man, oh man, it sure feels like the summer. Sure feels like the summer here today. Sectors were all flat this morning. Yep. Jay Rice mentioning natural gas here is green. We took a look at BOIL earlier. BOIL is, of course, the levered ETF, really kind of give you the juice there. Interestingly enough, this really hasn't moved out of the open, right? It did all of its movement there in the pre-market. How's UNG doing? Same exact chart. So that's still green. That's doing a good job holding it. Looks like all the movement has already happened. How's GME, by the way? I feel like we took a look at it earlier and then really nothing here. This stock not doing much of anything. And when I say not doing much of anything, I don't even just mean today. We were a little bit lower, just lower by about 3% here. Very, very minor. Man, we are holding on to the lows that we held on to Friday of last week. So after that kitty stream or during roaring kitty stream, the lows that we hit, we have really not broken down from that here today. That's good to see. I don't think that means we're going to go on a run here, but it's good to see that we're not really kind of breaking down. How's AMC? I don't even think I've looked at that yet here today. AMC chart here looks very, very similar. It's doing the exact same thing. It is holding those lows from Friday. It is remarkable how similar these two stocks trade. They have nothing to do with one another other than this meme craze angle, and they trade almost identically, or at least they have here.
I don't know if you agree, Ryan, but calling the
Qs. I'm sorry, Jay. The Q. Sorry, Andy. Real quick here, I did make a mistake. I want to cover that up there. The Q and the G look very, very similar. I just misread it. Sorry about that, dude. Go ahead, Andy.
When AMC and GME first made their run, I believe right when everybody started really calling it the meme craze, I actually think that doing that probably helped more people lose money than anything.
So let's talk about that, because you're bringing up a really interesting point. And here's the thing. I'm going to preface this by saying the internet likes to get really, and when I say the internet, I mean people on the internet. They like to get really, really sensitive about this. We are just having a discussion right now. I'm not accusing anybody of doing anything. But it does seem to me like what has Roaring Kitty actually done? Right? What has he actually done with this entire thing yet? He's definitely created a very rabid internet community. I don't really think that's bad or good. He's clearly done that. That's not arguable. He makes some pretty dank memes. There definitely seems to be kind of like a hidden message, kind of a secret thing here where people on Reddit boards and X, and they go around, they kind of piece all these things together. He's done that. He's created that. But as far as the actual market goes in this position, what has he actually done?
I appreciate his angle on the conspiracy theories.
Me too. Me too. That's what I'm saying. I look, I'm one for a good conspirity theory. I got that. I understand that.
That's really about it.
So Emiliola is saying, get rich. There are many ways to get rich. He's definitely a wealthy guy. Pretty sure he developed the first tranche of his wealth through streaming those, or from being on compliance and kind of moved over to streaming. Someone check me on that. Wiss here is saying he was a billionaire for a day. What does that do? What does being a billionaire for a day do? Yeah, that's what I mean. Like here's the thing. If you're going to go along the lines of the conspiracy theory, if you're going to say that there's a longer term plan here and we haven't reached the end of it, I got no problem with that. I think that's interesting, frankly, and I'm going to continue to tune in to see how it ends. But I mean, I'm just kind of like looking for like markers along the way. Has he made anyone else? Has he actually helped anyone else get really wealthy off of this? What's the end goal here? What's the end game? I don't know. I don't know the answer to these questions. That's what I'm kind of trying to think through here. WB is a paper billionaire. Well, that's what I mean. Does it really? I mean, it's got more money than me. I'm not trying to talk smack. I'm just saying, like, what has it actually done? Andy, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I'm with you, Ryan. I just know that there's, like you said, there's a huge following, and people get really strong, have really strong opinions about this on both sides. And the truth is a lot of people made money and a lot of people lost a ton of money. So, yeah. But calling it a meme stock movement afterwards, there was a lot of people in our community that were still wanting to go for that. They were still wanting to cling to that when it had clearly just fizzled and it was no longer there. And that's the problem that I'm talking about. Yeah, it all depends on what time frame.
Yeah, and you bring up a really, really good point there, Andy, because that's the thing. We talk about that here a little bit. We talk about that a little bit here together. The whole meme thing. Like if you weren't perfectly positioned or perfectly set up for that, maybe you lost on that. You pop saying lost 400 on GME. When I was trying to scalp, I think I lost probably 200 or 300 scalp. I think there was one day where I scalped it maybe 6 or 7 times and I made money and then I lost money. And I think I ended up about flat, maybe down a couple $100. It's the thing that's just kind of like the larger thing that I'm trying to get to here. I don't know how this is going to resolve. I don't know what it's going to mean, but I'm not sure what's getting done. It is super fun along the way. That's for sure. Okay. Nvidia is taking off again. Well, we might as well take a look at it again. Is it breaking out of that flag around 120 that we talked about? Yes,
it's right at that.
Exactly what it's doing.
Yeah, that was a pretty nice, strong bounce in Nvidia. But I mean, that's only if we're zooming in, like you said, the market really hasn't done much today. Nothing has really done much today.
No, and you know what? Let's see if this starts it here. We're coming up to the 121 spot. This is one we talked about earlier today. It really couldn't get above 121.22 earlier today, or 121 and a quarter, we'll call it. So we'll see if we can get above that here. 121 test sure looks like this is coming. But to Andy, to your point, the SPY's still not out of its pre-market range, not really doing much of anything here. Let's take a look at AMD and SMCI and see how some of these other stocks that are directly related. AMD's chart looks very similar. It just hasn't really taken that next leg yet. SMCI, the strongest of the group, frankly, today. This thing continuing to move towards the highs. See, Jay Rice has been on this from the beginning. Robert, shout out to you. You were on this earlier today as well.
Yeah, my SPY weekly candle right now, Ryan, looks like a doji in the making. I mean, it's just flat.
Here is your SPY weekly candle. Now, I mean, Andy, the one thing that I will say here, I mean, it's Monday, right? We're what, an hour? Yeah, hour and 10 minutes into the weekly candle here. So that's definitely going to change by the end here. Opera, this really hasn't done much of anything. That's probably not going to pick up until the Worldwide Developer Conference starts. Bitcoin actually lost 70K. Looked like it tried to retake 70K here earlier. How are the Bitcoin stocks doing? How's Mara and Riot? Let's take a look at those. See how those are doing. Okay, so Mara's still kind of holding off low. How did Riot? You remember we had a short report on that recently. Is that still higher from the short report? Yes, it is. This was it right in here, wasn't it? Short report. Yeah, that short report brought us down to $9. Riot still kind of holding in there, pretty much right where it was at prior to the release of that report. So we'll see what the next move is here on Riot. Let me know if anyone dug into that report, by the way. Andy, Marion wants to know here, what is your opinion on the Fed on Wednesday?
I am completely disconnected from that. I do not even know.
Yeah. We kind of asked Matt Maley about that earlier. We'll see what they say there. I would imagine there's going to be nothing new in that speech. I can't imagine. Didn't we get this? Don't we get the CPI that day too? I think we feel like we get the CPI. Let me check my calendar here and make sure I got the right one. Economic news. Then we're going to look at Wednesday, the 12th.
My opinion is that I was holding on to those to those Fed decisions when they were making a lot of moves in the market, and just like the GME trade and the AMC trade, they started to fizzle out and not really do much, you know. So, do I want to be aware that it's happening? That's about all. I want to be aware that there's a potential danger or a potential catalyst for my trade that day. Other than that, not much.
Yeah. Okay. So, a couple of things here. So, we're going to have the CPI in the morning. And then later that day, we're actually going to have the Fed meeting notes. So I guess the question here, let me follow this. Marion, excuse me. What is your opinion on the Fed? So are you asking what they're going to talk about? Or are you trying to predict what the market reaction is going to be? Guess I'm a little bit puzzled there. CPI in the morning and then the Fed speaking on the backs of that later on in the afternoon. What did we do last time? Didn't we trade higher last time? I'll have to look that up on the chart. I will say, though, even the Fed days, even in the environment that we're in right now, where everything seems to be slower, low volume, the whole 9 yards, those Fed days at least give us an opportunity, even if you're just going to scalp the SPY back and forth for a little bit. You should be able to do that on that Fed day. So we'll see here. Nvidia. Nvidia right to that 121. We'll see if we get above that.
AMD starting to pull back just slightly here, so might want to keep that in your mind if you're trading Nvidia.
DSY through that VWAP, that actually might make another run towards the highs here if you're looking for something to trade here. Here's your AMD chart that you were just taking a look at, Andy. Here's a 5-minute chart. This actually looks like this is rolling back over to the VWAP. Marion, if they cut rates, okay, so you're asking specifically if the Fed cuts rates on Wednesday, what is your position? I would be full risk on at that point, like full on risk on. I mean, I would probably use all of the dry powder left in my account, at least to day trade that I would imagine we rip. I don't think anyone's got a rate cut in the June month here. I don't think anyone's got that penciled in. I think the market would be offside if we got that.
See, my first thought is, has this already been priced in? And that's generally been the case in my experience.
Yeah, there's so much. I don't really think, I think if I'm wrong and we do get a rate cut this year, I don't think it's going to be in June. It's September, December would be the only possibility there. And I would say December is probably more possible. I would imagine if we get one this earlier, look out. We probably we have a bullish run. Maybe it doesn't last, right? Maybe it doesn't last. But for us, for traders, oh God, Marion, if that's what we get, look for risk on. Look for risk on. What do you folks think? What would you guys do? Robert, Jay, Lion, really, Mike, Bourne, Voodoo, if you're out there, anyone that of you guys that are active every single day, if all of a sudden we got a surprise cut, what would you do? Help Marion out here. Let him know. I'd be full risk on. Full risk on. I mean, to the point where it's like, I mean, I definitely wouldn't hold full risk on overnight, but like I would be so surprised that my initial reaction without thinking would be to just smack the buy button.
And I've done that before and it's hurt.
Yeah, me too. I was going to say, I was actually just thinking about that before. When was the last time I did? Ooh, that didn't end well. I got head faked there. Yeah. See, DJF, you're pretty much saying the same, or in the same position that I'm in. Buy everything with a rate cut. Wiss, I'd go play golf. No, look, I know you. You like trading way too much. You'd be sitting there. Same, full risk on. Robert, I'm with you. Robert Smith, all in. Robert Baumgartner, you would also be playing that. Okay. I'm with you.
What I can tell you that I would be looking for, though, is a big move in either direction, and seeing if that either holds for the continuation or else, the counter move.
I can tell you. Go ahead. Sorry. Finish.
I wouldn't position myself in advance, though. I would wait until there is a large reaction first.
Yeah, me too. I would wait for that confirmation. That I think tactically, Andy, very, very smart. Definitely should do that. 13, rate cuts could see rotation out of Mag 7 and into rate sensitive names. SPY could drop while IWM source. I'll tell you what, I think the surprise would be so crazy. I'm not sure that the SPY would drop, but the reaction that you're talking about here, I think definitely would happen. And as far as IWM soaring, I mean, oh my God, if those small caps get a taste of cheaper money, I agree with you, 13. I think they would soar, absolutely soar.
I think 13 put it beautifully.
Jay Rice saying, I disagree. I'd sell the Qs and buy IWM. So this kind of looks like you'd be on what 13 was just talking about. If they cut, things are bad. None of the data we have seen is bad yet. So Jay, I can really appreciate. You're kind of looking behind. You're kind of looking behind the scenes there. You're basically saying if they cut, they have admitted at that point that they're in trouble and they're trying to play catch up. And you think that the market would kind of sniff that out here. I think maybe you're right. I think that initial reaction might be euphoric, though. I see what you mean here about the Qs, though. And especially since those are probably the strongest sector with gains. Yeah, I could easily see that rotating out of there.
A lot of smart money is already in these positions, and I think that they would start to unwind a little bit of that if we get that big move. And
that's the calculus, right, Andy? Where is the smart money already positioned for? The reason I thought this question was so interesting is because Marion was presenting a situation to me where it felt like a majority of people would be offsides. I know that there are people hoping for rate cuts. I can't recall a single person calling for a rate cut that thinks we're going to get it in the June quarter. So the way I looked at that was that, hey, everything would be offsides here and the market would be trying to play catch up. But you guys are bringing in a real good stuff to this discussion here. And frankly, we're doing it on a day where there's not a whole lot going on. I mean, even in these smaller names, do you guys have anything? Renb, we'll take a look at DSY here in a sec. Renb, maybe it curls. I mean, maybe. I don't really kind of been flagging down here. DSY, I don't really have. Andy, do you have anything moving over there?
It's paint drying right now.
it's paint. Thank you. Okay, well, at least I'm not the crazy one here. It definitely seems like it's paint drying.
I mean, like, relatively speaking, if you're looking on a really small chart, lower time frame, the market's moving up. But I mean, it's doing nothing.
ESPR here, this coming up to its intraday high. We'll see if that breaks above. Nvidia now, the stock of the day here, 121. Tell you what a reversal off that low here. Nice little 3-4 point move here on Nvidia. It's finding some resistance up there. That 121.25, finding some more resistance there.
I think that's another place where traders really go wrong is they see that small time frame and it's moving up and it's looking really strong, really bullish or bearish, whatever they're going for. And then all of a sudden you get that real move and it just flushes in the opposite direction. They're just caught off guard, like, whoa, you know.
You think we get that here on Nvidia? I think we run into some resistance and flush, maybe down to the VWAP.
Okay, no, I'm really, I mean, that would be a surprise.
Okay.
Today, that'd be a big surprise.
SPY still in that range, by the way, unable to take out those pre-market highs that it set earlier.
But as a trader, Ryan, all I'm doing is constantly reminding myself of all the hard lessons that I paid a lot of money to learn. And I want to keep those as close as I possibly can to make sure I don't end up in that same spot again, you know?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense.
I mean, I paid a lot of money for them, so I should really try to remember them.
Lion Atlas FMC down another 3% here. Are you adding again? Man, this is rolling all the way back over. I'll be honest. When we first started talking about it, I did not want to see it break this $55 low. Not great here, but let's see if we can trade back in here and hold 50. I would really like to see this make a higher low off this formation here. Tell you what, FMC, ever since we really started talking about it recently, this thing has rolled over and has really given us some prices lower. Now you guys are scalping CrowdStrike. That's probably a better idea. These bigger liquid stocks, probably better for these scalps here today. CrowdStrike, as far as we seen here on CrowdStrike, we'll see if it can take out that high that it made earlier. Nice job, Robert. Robert, actually, shoot me an email if you don't mind. I wanted to ask you something. Let me go ahead and throw my email here in the chat. Shoot me an email when you get a chance. I'll look you up if I don't hear from you. Just want to make sure I have the right address. I don't see anything else really going on. Let me check the Twitter streets here real quick.
Yeah, in the end, Ryan, I've paid less for a private university than I've paid for a lot of these lessons that I've learned in the market. So definitely want to keep those close. Get that moment, that make it or break it moment for in the near term for the SPY and Nvidia, I believe.
Let me bring them up. Sorry, I left CrowdStrike up there. Chris saying, looking like we're trading nicely upwards. Too many people overlook private colleges and universities. I went to one and only had $1,500 in student loans. That's actually a really good way to do it. Lion Atlas says, yeah, I'm buying more FMC down here. Good luck, dude. So here's your SPY. Here's that top pre-market range. Was this the key level you said we were at?
Yeah, basically breaking through that 533.86 and see if we can hold, and we pulled right back inside. So, you know, anything can happen, but we could really pull back to this 533.69 first.
Okay.
But looking at AMD and Nvidia, though, it's pretty nice moves, though.
ARM got mentioned earlier. ARM, big reversal here off the bottom. This really kind of holding in here at 140. We'll see where we end up going. Nvidia 121 again here. Tell you what, Nvidia, this split didn't slow it down, at least not yet. This is definitely trying to break out here and go higher. We'll see if it can do that. Easy Mike, what do you got, Nvidia? What are you and your group trading on Nvidia? You swinging this like day trade, long, short? Looking around, you don't see anything on the Twitter streets. I do see a bunch of AMD calls in here. Replimune up to the highs. This is actually a really good move from what, Wednesday of last week? Yeah. Stock was $5 on Wednesday last week.
WLDS looking a lot like that RENB.
This is that wearable device. It sure is. Looks like that pop pretty much just gave everything back here. Like I was saying, when this was running here on the Qualcomm Snapdragon, we've seen this same story with Apple, and it just continued to move lower here.
I bought more at the lows on RENB and just closed just a little above flat.
You bought more
RENB, I told you I got some earlier.
Yeah,
so
you're basically just dollar cost averaging to get out flat here. Gotcha.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah, you didn't really get a whole much of a bounce there. GME looks like this did try to bounce to the VWAP, but was unable to take it out. This might not be the last attempt here at the VWAP, but so far this really hasn't shown a whole lot of anything here today. GME.
Now that I'm out of the way, and maybe it'll start moving now. RENB.
I always feel like that, Andy. I feel like as soon as I get out of the way, that's when the stock starts moving. I can't help it. Cannot help it. Cody, we cannot advise you to buy or sell. I'm sorry, man. Neither of us are licensed. Can only tell you our opinions on the stocks and what we're doing here. At the end of the day, you are going to need to make that decision, my man. Why did you get into it in the first place? It'll be the first question I ask. Nvidia is trying to go higher here.
For basically, what I would say is everything needs to be predefined risk, in my opinion. For anything, there can never be a question after we're in it. If we should do this or that, we should already have that all set before we make that move.
Have a plan for either of those, right? That's easier said than done, especially when you're reacting to something in real time. What I can answer here real quick. The last part of their second question here, all good if so, but y'all think this shit's over. So here's what I can answer that. I'll give you my opinion on that. No problem. First of all, no. I don't think the hype and all of the stuff with GME is over. No, I think we're going to see some more. I think the success of Roaring Kitty's stream, in which nothing really happened on Friday, shows you that we're probably going to get something else at some point. There's some rumors floating out there about some Uno cards predicting some date in the future. Would imagine something. I just can't tell you what's going to happen. I can't tell you that, at the end of this, GME should be 100. Like, I don't know. Could be 100 pennies. Or 100, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is there. I'm going to keep following it, though. I do think the story and everything that's going on here is interesting. I don't claim to be smart enough to know what's going to happen at the end of it, though. I don't think it's over.
I'm not thinking this pop on Nvidia is going to hold. And what that's just my opinion, guys. And what Robert said, just never let emotions drive strategy. That's the number one thing.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. So, Andy, let's talk about Nvidia here. We got, about a minute here till we have to send you over to Trader Bacon. By the way, folks, all of that's going to be done automatically. I've already got the redirect sent here. What do you think on Nvidia? You got a level here to maybe day trade, scalp this short? What do you think? What do you think is going to happen?
I'm actually looking for the market to reject anywhere below here, all the way up to 533.87-ish. And when that happens, I think that Nvidia is going to fizzle. That's my take. I'm looking at another trade to gauge my Nvidia trade.
Okay. So you're kind of watching the broader market then, it sounds like.
right? And just how I was looking at AMD earlier, it was dropping hard and we had that divergence between the two, and then Nvidia caught up real quick to AMD. So
sure did. And actually, we'll see if this turns around here. I'd look for this to possibly turn around at 122. All right. That's going to be it for us here today. Andy, look, I cannot thank you enough for hopping on here. I'm sorry about all of the technical issues that I went through here today. Thankfully, it did not affect Andy one bit. Andy came out with his game face on. Did not affect Matt Maley one bit. So clearly, I'm the one that's going to need to try and get 2% better. We'll attack this tomorrow. Andy, we're going to have you back tomorrow?
absolutely, Ryan. See you then.
Absolutely love it. Again, thanks so much, Andy, for joining. And thank all of you folks here for joining us Thanks all of you folks for joining us here today. Again, we are going to send you over to Trader Bacon. Stay green, stay safe. We'll see you tomorrow. Keep making that money, folks.